Why have Land Rover Defenders got a hinge on the windscreen? Well, it's to fold them down, of course. It's not that easy. It really isn't. If you're thinking you can have a Land Rover Defender and flop the windscreen down on a Sunday and pop down to the shops and back with a nice sunny day, forget it. To fold that windscreen down, you first have to disconnect the wipers, then you've got to disconnect the windscreen washer jet, then you go inside the car, you disconnect the plastic trims on the A-pillars. Following that, you've got the headlining. That's an absolute mission to get down as well. Then you've got a series of bolts between the windscreen frame and the roof. That's bonded together as well to stop it leaking. Then, once you've done that, you're more than likely going to have a snorkel. Don't get onto raised air intakes. That's for another video. So you're going to have to fold that down as well, or disconnect it. It does have a bit of flexi pipe there. Whether it will or not fold down, I've never tried it, so I don't know. But it is an absolute mission to fold this windscreen down. So why have Land Rover left these in place? They are so problematic as well. They are the #1 reason why you've got leaks coming in through your bulkhead and dripping onto your right foot whilst you're driving. It comes in between the rubber on that hinge, through the bolts and drips down. It also comes in through this seal here between the bulkhead and the windscreen frame. It's bizarre. So why have Land Rover kept it? Well, it all comes down to the original Land Rovers, the series Land Rovers, or the ones before that. They were just a windscreen sticking up, and that was the only thing protruding up. The top of the doors here, none of that was there. So the only thing that stuck up was the windscreen frame. So they wanted it to fold down. But why would you want it to fold down in the first place? Well, there's a bit of a debate around that. There's two things that come out. Firstly, the vehicle's made for gentlemen farmers originally, and the theory goes that they'd want the windscreen to fold down for when they were shooting or for when it was raining or cold and mist, because the heaters aren't great in here, so you wouldn't have to worry about clearing the windscreen. You just fold it down and away you go. But that's not the primary reason why you had them on there. So the reason the windscreens did fold down, it does come back to the original Land Rovers. The military wanted the vehicle, and that meant they wanted a vehicle that they could stack and store and put in containers easily, which meant they put a hinge on the windscreen, folded it down. You've then got just this much of vehicle to stick in a container or stick in a crate, and you haven't got this waste of space here sticking up and making it all of that needed to be stored as well. And that's where it originated from. Now after that, they of course expanded the vehicle and made it into this. So you say, well, why have they kept the hinge? Why didn't they just design it out and make the bulkhead and the windscreen one piece? Well, that all comes down to cost. Cost for the manufacturer to make the vehicle, Land Rover, and cost for maintenance as well. This particular bulkhead here on my vehicle is the same bulkhead between 1983 and 2006. That's 23 years of manufacturing the same style and shape bulkhead, which means you just need the one design of press to do it. Presses to form chunks of metal these size are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of kit. If you can cut that down into just one press and one style, then throughout its lifespan you can spread the cost of that press all the way through. So that's 23 years of manufacture with just one shape press. That also makes this car a lot cheaper to produce. Not only that, it makes it a lot easier to find the parts and maintain them as well. If you take a modern car, for instance, you try and find the part for that. They'll ask you for your registration number, your chassis number maybe as well, and from then on there'll be several variants that may or may not fit your car, and sometimes you can pick up 2 or 3 parts and they'll all be wrong or a slightly different shape because they'll only have made them for a couple of years. This is 23 years, which means it's universal, which means that anywhere in the world I can say, I need a bulkhead, and I'll be able to find one easily. So there you go. That is why Land Rover kept these hinges on there for so long. Slight caveat to that, 2006, that is the date that I could find online. If it's not, let me know in the comments. Please do correct me. I'll see you off-road.